looks like Marvel is once again putting out another series that they have absolutely no faith is gonna work, but this time it's called IronHeart. Hey y'all, SnarkyJay cosplay here. So as of the time of this video's recording, this afternoon we got the news that Marvel Studios is going to be putting out the first trailer to the upcoming Disney Plus series, IronHeart. If you didn't know this was going to happen, you might have just forgotten because Marvel actually announced this show all the way back in 2020, meaning this show has essentially been in purgatory for the past 5 years. Now, if you also happen to not know who the hell IronHeart is, you're probably not alone because this character, even though she's established in the comics, actually only appeared in Black Panther 2, which, in case you don't remember, Black Panther 2 came out in 2022, so it's now been 3 years since this character was even halfway relevant. Disney has really not done this character or this series any favors, and they're actually breaking a record right now. So even though we're supposed to be getting the trailer to this series tomorrow, the series actually comes out next month. So the record that IronHeart is already breaking is the shortest amount of time between the official trailer and the release of the show. It's actually going to be a span of a little over 40 days, which is pretty terrible considering that you probably want to give yourself as much time as possible to put out teasers and trailers and build hype for the show. The fact that they've been so quiet about this one, a show that's been in development again since 2020, really doesn't bode well. So we haven't officially seen the trailer, and I remember hearing rumors about it leaking, but I hate watching leaked trailers. I much prefer to give my full opinion once I know that something is 100% official and released as the studio intended. So personally, I'm waiting on that trailer to come out tomorrow, and you can expect a reaction video to it. However, things really aren't looking good for IronHeart. In my opinion, IronHeart was arguably one of the more forgettable parts of Black Panther 2. She neither came across as likable nor fun, and to be completely honest, an entire show centered around this person when they could have done something along the lines of Armor Wars and brought back Don Cheadle would have been way more interesting, but of course, Marvel did the whole secret invasion thing. I don't even want to get into the whole Skrull conversation right now. So anyways, we got our introduction to Riri Williams in Black Panther 2, and we already knew that she was strong, incredibly intelligent, very disruptive and unique, and wanting to make a name for herself.
What's cool about her is she's a bit disruptive.
You want me to be small, but I refuse.
Which really sets her apart than our show.
Which is an incredibly unique superhero story. We've never heard any characters with that trait ever, especially not in Marvel, where every origin story almost sounds the exact same. Interestingly enough, Riri Williams essentially rides on the legacy of Iron Man's existence, being that she's called Ironheart instead of Iron Man, and in the comics she is literally mentored by Tony Stark / Iron Man. They weren't able to do this in the MCU because Iron Man is dead and has never met Riri Williams in the MCU before. Now, funny enough, they actually put out a sort of teaser / breakdown thing today leading up to the trailer tomorrow, and they mentioned how this has nothing to do with the legacy of Iron Man, which is always so funny. You just build a character off the legacy and hype of another character, and then they go, no, but she has nothing to do with this guy.
The story of IronHeart is not a story about the mantle of Iron Man getting passed. If anything, it's the opposite.
Come on. The only reason this character has nothing to do with Iron Man is because they weren't able to establish her being mentored by Iron Man in the MCU. In fact, people that seem more likely to become the next Iron Man or were mentored by Iron Man, Spider-Man was basically reduced to being Iron Man's mentor in the MCU. And if we were gonna talk about characters that would have been really interesting to see come back, how about Harley from the semi-successful Iron Man 3, who actually does make a cameo appearance at Tony Stark's funeral in Avengers Endgame. Or, you know, his daughter, who he loved 3000. But no, even though Marvel wants to say that's not what's happening, they are giving the legacy of Iron Man to Riri Williams. And unfortunately, again, even though this is a story in the comics, the emotional connection and the emotional weight of this sort of power transfer really isn't going to work because we've never seen Riri Williams interact with Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark in the MCU. And on top of that, they're consistently selling us these characters that are bolder than ever, stronger than ever, smarter than ever, but they really never have to show us this character proving themselves in that way. Now, they might spend the entirety of IronHeart as a TV show showing us that, and I hope they will. I would love for them to flesh out this character. However, the star of the show is already saying some not great about it so far. Dominique Thorne plays Riri Williams, and she recently talked about how Robert Downey Jr. reached out to her and they had a whole conversation about her journey as this character, again, one appearance in the MCU, and he basically almost gave her his blessing. And in the same conversation where she highlighted this interaction with Robert Downey Jr., she took a moment to highlight the intellect of this character, Riri Williams, and she had this to say. She's dumpster diving, whereas Tony Stark was this bajillionaire. What she's able to accomplish is remarkable. I find that interesting, and I want to talk a little bit more about that because what we hear a lot of times when somebody takes over the mantle of a legacy character, they can either go, yeah, I'm so excited to be the next Iron whatever, or you can go, well, the previous Iron whatever that carried the mantle and carried the MCU on his delicate shoulders for over a decade, well, he was a bajillionaire. This character is remarkable. Need I remind you that in 2008, the first time we were ever introduced to Tony Stark, our favorite party boy turned superhero, when he becomes Iron Man, he builds his first Iron Man suit. Let me think, how was it that they said it?
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
Oh yeah, right, in a cave with scraps. So really, 2008's Iron Man was the great equalizer that showed us that yes, Tony Stark is in fact a bajillionaire, whatever the number that means, but the whole point of Tony Stark is that it's his superior intellect and his fighting spirit that drives him to create the Iron Man suit again
in a cave with a box of scraps.
It didn't matter that he had a bajillion dollars waiting for him at home. What mattered was the guy was a genius and he was dying to get out of that cave and he was dying to get out and do something better. It's always hard for a character built on the legacy of an original character to establish themselves as original, and we already know there's a number of reasons why a show like IronHeart will be up creek without a paddle, especially again because it's been in development for over 5 years, and usually that never bodes well for a TV show, film, or pretty much anything. And to be quite frank, it really doesn't sound like Disney has any faith in this one. We all know that Disney loves their teasers and trailers, and if we talk about recent Marvel releases, Marvel marketed the out of Thunderbolts, the last in-theater release. I mean, that was everywhere. I still haven't been to the theater to see it, unfortunately, but I had the whole thing spoiled for me literally by Monday after it was released because they made sure to update the marketing campaigns as soon as possible. Marvel puts a lot of money into projects that they want to win and projects that they think can win, but the fact that they've been so quiet about IronHeart, even a little over a month before its release, especially when it's Disney Plus, when it's so much easier to produce teasers and run them before your content on the platform, it just goes to show you that they have zero faith in this one, and what they're putting out is essentially something they've already deemed is going to be a failure. I think that's kind of a bummer. It's always a bummer when you hear about passionate people having their projects fail, but to be completely honest, I didn't really get the need for an IronHeart from the beginning, and I don't really think that many people rallied behind this character after her appearance in Black Panther 2. It literally took a refresher before I made this video to remember the character's history, because unfortunately I pretty much forgot all about her in the 5 years since they announced this show, and I also kind of forgot she was in Black Panther 2 because I watched that movie once 3 years ago. So all this is to say, it's been a minute, and Marvel really needs a bigger marketing campaign to push for this show and have it get any real relevance. Of course, as of the time of this video's recording, we are getting the first trailer tomorrow, so even though we're only a little over a month out, maybe they're really gonna kick things up a notch, but to be honest, I don't think that's what's gonna happen. They have been so uncharacteristically quiet about this one. What I've heard about it does not sound particularly enticing. Either way, I'm gonna give the trailer a try, and Hopefully I'm pleasantly surprised. I would like to not have to sit through another terrible show, but I guess all of that remains to be seen when we get the trailer tomorrow and when we get the full series in late June. And that's all from me. I've been SnarkyJay. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. For more SnarkyJay, be sure to check me out on Instagram, and if you'd like to support me, this channel, and my content creation, do check out and consider subscribing to my Patreon for exclusive photo shoot sets and cosplay content. I'll add links to all of those in the description below, and let me know if you think IronHeart is being set up to fail in the comments below.